Welcome back, everyone. It's just another day in the life of a military wife. And I've been thinking, with Memorial Day having just passed, I was wondering how many people were aware about Armed Forces Day. So many people, and I've talked about this in the past, know that Memorial Day is to celebrate individuals who have died serving their country. So died in active duty, whether it's in a combat situation or a training situation, that sort of thing. That's what Memorial Day is for. Veterans Day is for veterans, and Armed Forces Day, which is the third Saturday in May, is for active duty service members. So most people will celebrate all the military all the time, but that's just the general breakdown. I want to talk a little bit more about what all that means. So, as always, I am your host, Sam Wolf, and you're listening to Life of a Military Wife. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit more. Um, so Armed Forces Day again is for active duty military. Memorial Day is for those who've died in the service of our country. And this is just a song that always seems to pop into my head this time of year, but it's What Did He Die For? I think by Hillary Weeks. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, it talks about basically what's the sacrifice that these people made. And that got me thinking a lot, as in what did all of these people die for? What is their sacrifice for? It's for me, and what am I doing with their sacrifice? And we have been really blessed as a family to have had very few friends, family lost in the line of duty. I do think that is a massive blessing, but there are quite a few, even just this year. It's been astounding the amount of individuals who have been lost in training accidents and whatnot. It's heartbreaking because every single time a service member passes away, they leave behind a family who will miss them, whether it is their parents and their siblings if they weren't married, or very frequently it is a spouse and children. And it's heartbreaking. And I have unfortunately had the opportunity to try to help um, a family in our community previously through that situation just a little bit, not even massively. I knew the family, but was not incredibly close, but close enough that I tried to help out a little bit. And it's hard. It's really hard, especially for me. It's heartbreaking to see the children handle it because it's so hard for these kids to process this loss and this grief. And just at such a young age to lose a parent is just earth shattering. And so, part of what I wanted to talk about today is different organizations that assist families who of service members who have passed away in the line of duty. And oftentimes, I think we have these 3-day weekends, and sometimes we stop to think about the individuals who sacrificed for us. But how often do we then stop and think about what we can do for those families of those individuals? So, part of what I want, hopefully, will happen from today is maybe if you have a chance, if you've got the ability to just find one of these organizations or find one yourself that you think is a credible organization and see what you can do to assist them, whether it's volunteer or donate. Anything is a huge blessing for these families. And so I'm going to share a little bit about some of these organizations that I am familiar with. And again, some of these I have had experience with. Like I've heard of them before, know people who volunteered / worked with these companies. Um, and then some are a little bit newer. As I was doing research for this episode, I came across ones that I was less familiar with. And I'm going to be straight up honest about which ones I'm less familiar with and which ones I have had more familiarity. More familiar. I can say this word. I've been more familiar with. Let's just put it that way. So the first one is TAPS. And TAPS is evidently a Army organization. It is a national nonprofit organization that provides compassionate care and comprehensive resources for all those who are grieving the death of a military or veteran loved ones. Since 1994, TAPS has provided comfort and hope 24/7 through a national peer support network and connection to grief resources, all at a no cost to surviving families and loved ones. So again, all these organizations, you can go and look up their information yourself, but I just kind of want to hit on them in general. And so the next one is the Gold Star Wives of America. And Gold Star is a phrase that you're going to run across when you're doing a lot of research with these different organizations. Gold Star in the military community indicates that you have lost a loved one, a service member has died in the line of duty, whether it is during a training exercise or in a combat situation. You've lost a family member. Um, and a blue star means that they have a family member who is deployed. So the stars mean different things but anyway, that's what Gold Star means. So a lot of these organizations will have a tie to Gold Star because that means it's just a quick way of indicating that they're serving families who have lost service members. So the Gold Star Wives of America is an organization committed to, and this is what they state, exist to serve and enhance the benefits of surviving United States military spouses and their children, to help our members and their children face the future with courage and determination, and to honor the memory of our military spouses who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Gold Star Wives of America Incorporated works with the United States Congress to assure recognition of our unique organization, which seeks benefits on behalf of the surviving spouses and children. And so that's again another organization. It's geared towards the families. And there was one that I did see, and I didn't include it on this list, but it was for mothers, Gold Star mothers. So again, like I said, Gold Star just means, family of individuals who have died and um, active duty service members. So that's okay. So the next one is Folds of Honor. And Folds of Honor is one that I've heard more referred to, but like I've heard more references made to Folds of Honor than some of these other organizations. But again, like I said, before donating, always do your own research and make sure you are comfortable with the organization you are donating to. I will make suggestions, but I'm never going to tell you where to put your money. This is just to help you understand that there are a lot of organizations out there that are trying to help and support these families. Um, so again, Folds of Honor. It has been meeting sacrifices, this is what they say on their website, meeting sacrifices with hope since 2007. So it began um, as a response to Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney's flight home from his second tour of duty in Iraq. He became painfully aware of the realities families face when a loved one in uniform has fallen or is disabled. His flight landed, and the pilot announced they carried the remains of Corporal Brock Bucklin on board. And as he watched this corporal's twin brother walk alongside the flag covered casket and meet the family on the tarmac. Among them was his young son. It really touched him, and he has committed his life to um, rallying patriotic Americans to meeting the sacrifice through this organization. So his whole goal is again to help support these families. A lot of it is through scholarships. Most of these organizations, and that's quite largely what I've seen, most of these organizations help provide grief counseling and things like that, or scholarships for the children of these families. Um, and most, hopefully, hopefully all of these service members took advantage of the life insurance that the military provides so that there is a basic level of economic security for their loved ones. But even with that, grief counseling is huge, and oftentimes expenses of college can just be really costly for a single parent household that is trying to get their feet back underneath them. So that's folds of honor. The next one I want to talk about is survivors outreach services. And so this one's Army. I got this one mixed up, and I apologize, with the first organization, TAPS. Survivor Outreach Services is directly a part of Army. It's an Army thing, whereas the other one, TAPS, is a nonprofit. Um, but Survivor Outreach Services, also known as SOS, provides long term support for surviving families of fallen soldiers. Their goal is to reassure survivors that they remain valued members of the Army family. The SOS program connects individuals with people who can help. Their services include grief counseling, financial counseling, benefits coordination, support groups, garrison, and surrounding area events. And so that one is very specific to the Army. There was some Navy ones and couple Marine Corps ones I found, and some Air Force ones. So there are branch specific ones, as well as ones that are just general military. The next one is Children of Fallen Patriots. And as they state that their mission is to provide college scholarships and education counseling to military children who have lost parents in the line of duty. They state from their website, we are dedicated to serving families of service members from all branches of the armed forces who have died as a result of combat casualties, military training accidents, service-related illness, suicide, as well as other duty-related deaths as ruled by the Department of Veteran Affairs. And so, like I said, every single one of these have a basic similarities where they overlap. They have some overlap, but they all have nuance differences in what they cover. Honestly, I was most surprised about learning about Survivor Outreach Services. I think that was one of the more comprehensive lists of services that I saw from any of these organizations. Um, and so that's something I learned that I did not previously know or was not previously aware of. And as I said, with all of these things, it's been eye opening. I have had family members um, who have passed away in the line of duty, some long time ago, and some more recently. We have acquaintances or individuals that have been in my husband's unit, but luckily, we those have been relatively few. But it's a serious thing. It really does happen. There's been quite a few instances, specifically the crash in Kentucky and the helicopter crash in Alaska, have been some of the larger ones this year. But there are training and ones that happen all the time. They've had individuals die of heat exhaustion during training exercises, of just bad weather in general, and these things happen, and it is tragic. So when Memorial Day is a time to get together with family and friends and to celebrate, but also in the course of those celebrations, if you can take a moment to stop and think about all of the individuals, the families that have sacrificed and continue to sacrifice and who are struggling because of those sacrifices. And if you can reach out, volunteer, donate, put your money where your mouth is. Instead of just saying you support the troops, do something that shows it. There are organizations that support in lots of different ways. I've talked about the USO, the Red Cross, all the things they do. But there are multiple organizations that help military family members, not just of those who are surviving and have lost loved ones, but those who have loved ones currently serving, or even veterans. Oftentimes, veterans have suffered quite a bit as well and are struggling to still continue to provide for their families. And that's not always easy, specifically if they've been medically retired. So, When we have these 3-day weekends, yes, they are wonderful and they are a great opportunity to enjoy the freedoms we have in this country. But like I said at the start of the show, what did they die for? What did they die for when they died for you and me? What does their sacrifice mean? And instead of just having a barbecue and enjoying your day off and sleeping in or whatever, take a moment to remember or do something for these families who have paid the ultimate price so that we could have the freedoms that we enjoy. Like I said, this is gonna be a slightly shorter episode. It's summer. Summer has started. I am now trying to juggle a recording schedule with the schedules of 4 kids and a dog. So life is life, and I will do my best to make sure I'm getting these episodes out to you still on a weekly basis. I've got some really great interviews that I recorded while my kids were still in school that will be dropping later on this summer. And also come July, I will be doing for sure a an episode recapping kind of little book club episode on um C.S. Lewis's Four Loves. And I will try to remember to put a link to the Audible and the Amazon if you want to go buy it. A friend of mine has purchased it through Thrift Books for a relatively inexpensive amount. It is a fabulous book, and I am looking to hear all of your guys' wonderful opinions and insights so that I can share them in our little impromptu book club come July. So please shoot me your thoughts and opinions about the book as you finish or as you are reading it. If there is a part particularly that you like, maybe there's something you don't like, I'm up to hear whatever you think. But yeah, please go ahead, share those. And I hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend and take a moment to thank a military family. That said, I am your host, Sam Wolf, and you are listening to Life of a Military Wife.